Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin and we're going to be looking at the Relative Strength Index or RSI. So if you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So, we don't typically talk about traditional TA, but yesterday I put out a video on the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio and looking at the RSI levels or the RSI level and recognizing the general trend with the Ethereum Bitcoin ratio. And I thought it was prudent to take a look at the Bitcoin RSI. We spoke about this, I think, about a year ago, was probably the last time I spoke about the RSI on my channel. But it's just a tool so that you guys are aware of. You can use it. You add it as an indicator on TradingView. So let me pull it up here. So here it is, okay? And the general idea here is it's more meaningful the longer the time frame, okay? So in a daily time frame, it's not quite as meaningful as looking at a weekly time frame, which again is not as meaningful as looking at a monthly time frame. And maybe I'm not doing that justice. Of course, everything has a meaning, right? But you just have to understand what that meaning is and what it really signifies for the long haul. For instance, on daily time frames, let me back up for a second. Generally speaking, 30 and below is oversold. 70 and above is overbought. Generally speaking, that means on the daily time frame, if you're seeing the RSI flash levels that are, well above 70, it's historically generally not a great time to be purchasing that crypto or that asset in general. Now, the one caveat, of course, is that on the daily time frame, we can spend a significant amount of time above an RSI of 70. I mean, there's periods of time where we can go more than a month above this level. So if your goal is to say sell everything anytime it gets to 70 on the daily time frame, then you're probably not going to be doing yourself any favors, okay? Now, one of the things we can note is that on the daily time frame, we reached back in September, so just last month, the RSI came all the way back down to around 30, 34, 35 or so on the daily time frame. Now it's back up to 80. If we take a line and just draw it it's currently dropped back a bit, but if you look to where it recently peaked and just draw a line, you can see that it doesn't stay above that level very long on the daily time frame. And if you zoom in, you'll see what has happened at those peaks, okay? So for instance, here was a peak, right? And this one was not accompanied by a downward movement. It was just accompanied by then going sideways subsequently, which then dropped the RSI back down. Again, another peak, and then it just moves sideways, and then you can see it coming back down. So the idea is that, buying at this point is a lot more risky than buying after it's been going sideways for a while, because it's trying to establish some level of support at this price point. But you can see, generally speaking, when the RSI peaks at these levels here above 82 or so, it's the price of Bitcoin on the daily time frame is a bit overspent in the short term. Okay, and this is back in 2019, and then you can see we did not come back above it. Even in May, we did not go above it, but in August, Bitcoin, the RSI went slightly above it again, and now we just came right back up to it. So this can give you a general idea. If let's say you have a lot of money just sitting on the sideline and you're wondering, should I put it into the market? Again, this is not financial advice, but you could look at the RSI and try to get an idea of, okay, well, maybe this is not the rational side of me talking, it's the FOMO side, because I'm if you find yourself wanting to just throw a ton of money into the market and you see that the asset is completely oversold or overbought, you just might want to think twice about it and consider, are you making the decision because it actually makes sense, or are you just FOMOing into the asset and chasing the pump? Now, if we switch over to the weekly time frame, things can get a little bit more useful, okay? Because now we're measuring these longer term moves in the market. And currently on the weekly time frame, we're still relatively low in terms of where we've been in the past. You can see that the RSI has recently reached a level of about 70, okay, approximately 70, which is the upper bound before we get into this overbought territory. And note that the last market cycle was frequently visited in this regime above 70. We had several peaks above 70, and it was the first peak above 70 in the first quarter of the year or so that was accompanied by, this was really kicking off the bull market, or just after kicking off the bull market, a few months after kicking off the bull market. That was that visit there. The other thing to draw attention to is the fact that historically speaking, the RSI during a bull market tends to find support at approximately 53 or so. Okay, there's a lot of examples during the last market cycle where we held support at an RSI on the weekly time frame of approximately 53, and already this cycle we've started to do it as well, assuming this is a multi-year bull market. So recognize the fact that we're currently nearing the top. It's possible we go higher, right? It's possible we always go higher in the short term. No one can really accurately and consistently tell you short-term moves. But you can at least look at, okay, is it more likely to go up? If it does go up, how likely is it to sustain that before a rather significant pullback down, maybe to the 20-week, maybe you see the RSI on the weekly time frame go back down to 50 at some point. Remember, it's not always about squeezing every penny in terms of an ROI. You want to make risk-adjusted decisions, right? Where you're looking at the risk-adjusted return on something and saying, okay, this makes sense. To give you an example, the very first time Bitcoin pumps to 20K, buying Bitcoin at that point would be very risky to do because it's getting to the prior all-time high, and historically speaking, it will likely hold resistance at it and come back down in the short term. However, if 12 months later, the price is at 22,000 and it's been holding support at 20,000 for 6 months or so, then it would make more sense in my mind to buy at 22K at that point than to buy at 19K, say a year earlier. I'm not saying that that's exactly what will happen. I'm just giving you an example of how you think in terms of risk-adjusted returns, because there's also such thing as time value of money. You might say, well, I'd rather buy it at 19 than 22. Well, but also, what was your money doing in the time in between that time? I mean, if it went to 19 and then back to 14 and then back to 20 and then back to 20, and then went up to 22 and then back to 20, and it's popping all over the place, that's fine. But remember, it's all about the time value of money. And then finally, we can look at it on a monthly time scale, and it even tells a better picture. It very easily helps you identify the bear markets, and that is essentially accompanied by the monthly RSI going down to approximately 43 or so. So 43 on the monthly time frame has historically been our support. So you can see that right there, and here we didn't even go down to it. And then on the monthly time frame, the bull market is characterized by peaks so far at approximately 95, 98, somewhere in this regime. Okay, so this is what we're looking at. We understand the importance of the relative strength index. I'm not saying it's the only tool, but again, it's just one more tool you can use. If you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and remember, we do have the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. You'll get access to weekly reports, weekly videos, the risk dashboard, which is what I use to trade, the premium Telegram alerts channel. I put a lot of effort into it, etc. You get a lot of features there, so check it out. You can also pay with crypto for 12 months to get a 15% discount. That'll wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.